Good afternoon, everybody. Right Honorable Prime Minister and Chief Guest, Mr. Sushil Koirala, Guest of Honor, Honorable Mr. Nitin Jairam Gadkari, Minister of Road, Transport and Highways, Government of India, Honorable Minister, Ministry of Finance, Dr. Ram Charan Mahat, Honorable Minister, Ministry of Physical Infrastructure and Transport, Mr. Vimalendra Nidhi, Mr. Binod Chaudhary, President Emeritus, CNI, Honorable Ministers, Honorable Members of Constituent Assembly and National Planning Commission, Chief Secretary and Secretaries of the Government of Nepal, Excellencies, high-ranking government officials of Nepal as well as Government of India, development partners representing different institutions in Nepal, distinguished delegates, participants from different countries and Nepal, friends from media, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed an honor and a pleasure to welcome you all on behalf of Confederation of Nepalese Industries and on my own in this important event. This summit is being organized in collaboration with different ministries of the Government of Nepal, Investment Board of Nepal, Youth Community of Nepalese Contractors, a group of like-minded young construction entrepreneurs in Nepal, and also with the support of all our development partners as well as commodity associations. On behalf of CNI, our co-organizers and all partners and associates, I also would like to express my sincere gratitude to the Chief Guest, Right Honorable Prime Minister Mr. Sushil Koirala, and Guest of Honor, Honorable Mr. Nitin Jairam Gadkari, for accepting our invitations to grace this occasion. Confederation of Nepalese Industries, representing large and medium-sized industries in Nepal, has always been playing a proactive role in the development process of Nepal, which has been instrumental in shaping the policy guidelines of our country. We all agree that infrastructure development is a precursor to economic development in the current age of globalization. There is no country which has built and developed infrastructure only through government funding and initiatives alone. We also know that the role of private sector is vital in this regard. However, in Nepalese context, at present, private investment in infrastructure still attributes to only a small portion of the country's GDP. The private sector involvement in infrastructure can be driven through the mechanism of public-private partnership, PPP, where private sector work collaboratively in developing and managing infrastructure facilities and services that are to be developed and delivered by the government. The involvement of private sector in infrastructure development in Nepal traces back to 1992. Similarly, the build, own, operate and transfer BOOT policy was also introduced. However, we have to admit that the country has not been able to yield considerable outcome from PPP mechanism. Private investment, whether domestic or foreign, needs the right environment, as these include investor-friendly policies, laws and regulations related to infrastructure development. There must also be laws and regulations effectively enforced related to the security of investment as well as fair labor laws. This summit, which CNI has taken initiative to organize, will be an important milestone to start and sustain a national level direct conversation between government and private sector on infrastructure development, so that the coming years to come policies, regulations, networks, know-how, financing, and expertise on infrastructure development can be pooled and deployed in Nepal, which can fulfill the needs and demand from different sectors concerned to infrastructure development and management. Broadly speaking, the Nepali economy in recent years has been improving. The fundamental and microeconomic situation is gradually taking positive trends, and doing business index is also improving. However, there is always room for improvement, though our macroeconomic situation is also in a satisfactory state, but the same cannot be said for the socio-economic development, which is the true measure of economic growth of the nation. The summit will bring lessons from Nepal's past experience into wider discussion. We will have an opportunity to hear the experience of our distinguished chief guest, distinguished ministers, and especially delighted to listen from our guest of honor and keynote speaker, Honorable Mr. Nitin Gadkari's experience, whose planning, thoughts, and initiations have brought a drastic transformation on infrastructure development, especially in Maharashtra, and now in his new role under Prime Minister Modi's government in India. Likewise, we have many distinguished speakers and panelists in this two-day summit. Their views, discussions, and suggestions will be the guideline for us to develop the institutional mechanism where CNI will work on follow-up works on the commitments made by the different actors along with the government agencies. It would also provide a platform for investors looking Nepal as an investment destination while reducing risk in investment. Lastly, infrastructure development holds the key to complete economic transformations and inclusive growth, and if developed to its potential, has the ability not only to create economic prosperity in Nepal, but also convert its alarming growing trade deficit into a trade surplus. In conclusion, we would like to thank everyone for their overwhelming support for the Nepal Infrastructure Summit, especially the Government of Nepal, our development partners, IFC, EU, JICA, WWF, ADB, and many Nepalese financial institutions, as well as corporate business houses, and last but not the least, our chief guest, Right Honorable Prime Minister, guest of honor, Honorable Minister Nitin Gadkari, who has kindly accepted our invitation and graced this occasion, for whom CNI is honored and delighted. Thank you very much.